So if you're just joining, welcome. My name's Rob. This is Gentle Yoga. We're starting in a seated position. I'm on a block here just to make it easy on my body. I'm sitting up nice and tall. Maybe I shook the shoulders out. My legs are cross-legged, but however you want to sit is fine. And what we're going to start today is what's called Eye Mudra. Let's think of it like eye yoga poses. Some stretch and strengtheners and movements for the eyes. I mentioned that there's all these muscles inside the orbital, that connect to the occiput here, that move your eyeballs so much. Movement is muscular, and if we're getting patterns and uh, not bringing a lot of intentional awareness into the muscular eye movements, not good, right? So we're going to do that today to start practice first 5 minutes. So it's pretty simple. What we're going to do includes breath work here. I'm going to cue like an inhale. You don't need to go full inhale, but maybe like 75%, maybe just 50 for some of us. And what we're going to do is hold the breath and look in a direction. Okay? So let's take a nice big inhale to start. Big exhale. And notice my eyes are open, but they're like soft. We're not really going crazy here with the uh, eyelids yet. Okay? So let's take a nice big inhale. Big exhale. So to start, let's just do this a couple times. I want you to open your eyes as max as possible. You can even like bring your nose down and your eyebrows up. So I'm not going to get too detailed because this could take an hour here, but you really can open everything up as much as possible. And then I want you to kind of squeeze your eyes lightly. You can use your cheeks and your eyebrows as well. So we're not isolating like we've done before. And then we're going to open everything up. Squeeze. Open. Squeeze. One more, open. Squeeze. Okay, now relax there for a moment. Neutral eyes, just like neutral body. Okay, now take a big inhale. We're going to hold about 50, 75, if you're really good at it, maybe full breath. And then holding the breath, you're going to look just up with your eyeballs. Think of it like a yoga pose for your eyes. Like you reach your arms up to the sky, your eyeballs look up to the sky. Okay, and then exhale, relax your eyes, center. Big inhale, please. Hold your breath about half, 3/4, or full, and then look straight down. So it's kind of like your eyes look to your toes, right? We went up and we went down, right? Okay, big exhale, relax your eyes. You can even like close them for a moment. Just like I say, activate a muscle, then relax it. Try to do that. Okay, big inhale here, please. You're going to hold 50, 75 or full, and then holding that breath, you're going to look just to the right. I'm not looking with my neck, it's just my eyes. I like to think of this one as like a side stretch for your eyes. Okay, now big inhale. Oh, exhale. There's multiple ways to do this, yogis. The first cue is usually with the breath hold. Okay, big inhale. You're going to hold your breath, look left. We're only going to go through once today, okay? And I did switch up my seated position to make it a little bit more comfortable. I'm now sitting on my heels. Relax and, give your eyes a moment here. Close them. It can be strenuous if you're not new to this, guys, okay? Big inhale, guys, open your eyes. Now we're gonna look up to the right. I like to think of this as like a twist for your eyes. And then you're gonna relax your breath in your eyes for a moment. Okay, big inhale, please. You're gonna hold your breath, look down to the left. Relax your eyes. Big inhale, please. Hold your breath up to the left. Relax your breath and eyes. Big inhale, please. Hold your breath. Look down to the right. Relax your breath and eyes. Big inhale, please. Now both eyes look inward and up, like your third eye. Bridge your nose, so hold. Relax your eyes and breath, please. Big inhale, please. Both eyes look down and in, like the tip of the nose. Relax your eyes and breath, please. Now, the really tough one, I can't do it, but I've seen a couple of yogis slightly do it, where both eyes try to look out. So it's almost like starts with a peripheral gaze. So it's peripheral looking outward. And then it's a real subtle body. It's almost like both eyes are trying to focus more, both externally. We also do, the eye pop forward and the eye pull back, but I'm not going to do that today. That's more advanced. Now, our final eye exercise is, if you watch me, I'm going to use my hand as something to look at to guide this. So think of it putting it together. My hand is down here. I'm looking at it. My hand goes down to the right, up to the right, up. It goes up to the left, down to the left, down. So think of it like you're doing a big eye circle, putting it all together. So last part here, and then we're going to start moving that body a lot, yogis. All right. So I'm doing this. I'm following my hand. But it's not the hand that's working. It's the eyes. This is just giving me something to guide me. Does everyone get it? So do like 2 times, maybe one direction, and then do your final side, go the opposite direction, okay? So we're not moving the neck, yogis, okay? Look. It's just my eyes. It's the eyeball circling. And you don't need your hand necessarily. It's just a nice guide. But if it distracts you from doing your eyes, don't use your hand, right? Nice job, yogis. Let's get going. That was our first 10 minutes, okay? So I want you sitting for a while. That's not easy in itself. So what you do is you slowly make your way tabletop. And let's get that spine moving now, okay? Little cat-cow, arch and round. Inhale is the arch, exhale is the round. Don't forget to tuck your chin and lift your chin. And also, yogis, sometimes I like to just do my hips to really get into my lower back and core. And then sometimes I'll do like a more of the upper body focused version. And then I'll bring it back together. So, like I said, sometimes you break the cat-cow down into even smaller pieces, upper body, lower body, and then you kind of put it back together. And then what you do here, yogis, is arch your back over to the right, round over to the left. So big circles. I've been speaking to this idea a lot that sometimes yoga gets very structured, linear, rigid. When yoga gets rigid, that's when that alignment stuff becomes a problem. Because your spine, if you look at me, it's like meant to like move in all these crazy ways. And then you're like in yoga, oh, if you're not doing it exactly like this, it's wrong. That is wrong, not the movement. There's levels, it's context. It just depends on how you're feeling and the person and the goal, the objective. All right, so we were in that free movement now. Now go slow here, guys. We're going to meet back in tabletop. Right leg lifts up and back. Now, just for a moment, I'm going to do a little bit of this. Look, right knee in, right leg back, right knee in, right leg back. Now, I don't want to overarch my back. Remember the back workshop. Don't overarch. Round, leg up and back. And then I can roll out my ankle a little bit. I can even just kind of straighten and bend here, a little different. And then the last thing is to kind of circle the knee. More of the circle the hip, but the knee is kind of like the big circular position. And then I would circle the second direction. So it's a nice kind of like hip. Remember, hips are considered core. So anytime we're activating hips, it's working with your core at the same time, okay? Right knee's gonna go down. Maybe shake your hips out a little bit if you need to drop back or anything like that. That's a good idea. It's a lot on your wrist right now, okay? Go slow. Left leg's gonna go back and up. And I didn't bring it to the balance yet, right? I just went up and back and flexed the foot. And then I kind of pull it in here, back, forward, back, forward. I like to think of it like a piston, right? In the engine of your, and if you still have a combustion car, a lot of people have electrics now, so you don't have the pistons right as much. So, but the combustion engine, it has those pistons that they kind of go back and forth, and they create like work, right? So they create like energy that moves the car. And that's like what the leg is doing. It's like creating movement and heat and energy, just like the piston. And then you roll out your ankle. And then you bend and straighten the knee, maybe upright and back. And then you would circle the joint. So you're just kind of feeling it out, right? These are all kind of just options depending on where your body type. If your ankle's more tight, you spend time there. If your hip flexors and hips are tight, that first part and then that circling a little bit more. It just depends on where you're at. If the knee tends to be tight, you bend and straighten it a little bit more. A lot of different things to do there. What's funny is that your cells are like an energy creation too, right? It takes your nutrients, it takes nutrient energy with oxygen, and it literally like burns it. Like the engine of your car burns gas and creates what I said work, right? But your cells, your mitochondria we've talked about, they take oxygen and nutrients. The oxygen literally burns it, and the mitochondria create energy or like currencies of the cell, right? So pretty interesting how it's all kind of the same thing. All right, guys, let's keep going. Now I want to stretch the ankles. So big toes touch, sit back, taking a little bit of pressure off of those wrists. You know, we got to find a way to dynamically rotate the spine now, all right? So I'm going to lengthen my core. The last thing was all for hips, knees, and ankles. Now I bring it back to shoulders and spine. Hips are closed chain, ankles are closed chain now, all right, even though they're stretching. Inhale, right arm out and up. So notice I'm doing this a little bit different version. I am upright and long spine though. Inhale, arm up and open. Exhale, left hand down. As I inhale, it's like my palms are facing each other, but then they're almost both here. See that? Right hand down. And then, you might want to block here too. It depends on your flexibility. Just notice that my arm is perpendicular to my spine. So if I go like this, I'm not rotating. Got it? If I'm here, my arm is straight up. It's more perpendicular to my spine. So now that I'm upright more, my arm has to go back a little bit more. Hope that makes sense. Last few. What's nice about this too is it's a back fly. So it is good. It's a postural correction, right? You're going like this. If in fitness, you're trying to strengthen your back muscles to pull your shoulders a little bit back more. So it's a really nice one, guys, to do regularly. Now get off those feet, plant those feet, shake them down a little bit. We are going to do a quick downward facing dog. If it's ever too much, child pose, or, this is like a real good substitute for down dog. A little bit, right? Where I just kind of go like this and I'd switch sides. But if you have it, let's do it. Toes tuck, hips up and back. Pedal your feet out a little bit extra. Shake your head a little bit, yes and no. It's good to remember to have your head become like a weight that gets heavy, and I often say it hangs like an apple dangling on a tree. And that's pulling a little bit down on the spinal column, kind of decompressing a little bit. All right, nice big inhale. Let's take it down. Now a little bit different here, yogis. I want to do our lateral movement of the hip. So this one's a little bit, pretty easy, but it's actually pretty good for your hips here. So I'm in the tabletop, and my right leg is going to go back. Now I'm here to show you in this angle so you can see it better. My right leg's going to reach across behind me to the left. You see that? And I can pause here for a moment. So the reason I'm showing you, it's not that easy to see here. Okay, so I'm facing this direction because it's a coronal movement, right? So I have to show you from this angle. Now I'm here. You see how that leg stepped across behind me? You can kind of get a nice side body stretch, right? Like my upper body's neutral here. Watch it. It goes to the left too. So it's side bend. And then watch. I bring that leg a little wide here. Okay, and then I go slow, I bring it back behind again, and then I bring it back over. Now this is, meanwhile, it's all weight-bearing exercise in your arms, on your left hip. So it's not, there's work too, it's strengthening. It's, tabletop is like the easiest plank, right? So if your shoulders and hips burn, you're doing it right. Now listen guys, I want that right foot out to the side now. Do you see that? Go slow and then rise up. So I want you to think like Gentle Warrior 2. We've done this before, it's been a while. The right toes face forward. You see that? Now what's gonna happen is your hips might wanna go like this. I want the right hip to drop down a little bit. Now from the side, just so you can see, I'm like this. You see where the foot is in relation to the left? My right toes are forward, okay? Right hand goes down a little bit, left arm goes up. Don't make it too big. As you can see, we've now come into the side body. Just don't get too heavy and compressed. Think about reaching up more, and I do want you to press your right foot down. Now, another option could be to even roll on your right heel, flex your right foot. There are two different variations here, guys, okay? This is more medial, like a butterfly stretch. This is more posterior, more like a straddle stretch. It's good to know the difference there, okay? Now go slow, please. Right foot down, bend the knees. Now here's where we're gonna try thread the needle. We're doing a pretty strong, or let's say challenging form of gentle yoga. It's all relatively not too much effort, but it's not easy positions. Now, if this is too much, just bring the right knee back in and table, all right? If you can, right hand down, inhale, left arm up. So here's where we're gonna thread the needle. My left arm reaches underneath toward my right foot. We're getting fancy today. My left hand is reaching toward the foot, but it doesn't matter if it ever gets there. The right hand can even go up and around. Last 3 to 4 breaths. Big inhale, please. Go slow. Right hand pushes, left hand down, right knee in. So here's where we'll take that big forward and back movement because it was twists, asymmetries. So you might be feeling this in your back, okay? Butt to your heels, hips toward your wrists. Butt to your heels, hips to your wrists. You know, I've also been speaking to this idea of confusing your muscles. It's important that we confuse the muscles. And a lot of times, you get a lot of that in power yoga, right? But not as much in gentle yoga. So I'm kind of bringing that in as a, an objective today. It's like, let's do some things you're a little awkward in and feel weird about. Confusion, right? Hands over shoulders, hips over wrists. Left leg goes back. It reaches across, and we pause here for a few extra moments. So my left leg went back, and then it stepped across. across to the right. And I can even kind of, so here's me neutral chest more. Watch my upper body, it kind of side stretches. And then I just want you to take that movement nice and slow. I'll demo. So I got to kind of bring it wide where we're going to go. Now, a lot of times you can, use a blanket, right? Slide it back behind your right foot across. So I'm not using the blanket right now, but you could if you wanted to. My left foot would be on that blanket and it's slided wide on the blanket, and then the blanket slides back across. Okay, so last few, you're kind of just doing this. So that's, yogis, it's rare that we get a huge posterior chain weighted adduction. It's, especially in gentle yoga, the most we do this in gentle yoga, there's a few ways we do it, but this is a really nice variation of that. All right, now we're going to meet with the left foot out to the left, and we're going to rise up here onto the right knee. Okay, so we do things where we hip circle and stuff. I saw somebody's adding that in from previous classes. That's awesome. Okay, we already did that in table, so I won't today. The right arm goes up and over. Big side stretch. And we call that gentle reverse warrior 2. You commonly see that position in the warrior standing poses. Now please go slow, right? Back up to center. Slowly bring your hands toward the floor. Table, if it's too much, left knee under here, okay? If you're gonna try it today, push your left hand down, inhale, reach your right arm up. Awkward, thread the needle. Right hand toward left foot. Maybe left arm up and open. Your pace, left hand down, inhale, right arm, neutral. Left knee in. There's your neutral table. If you wanted to do a little set of push-ups or a little plank, good idea. Or I'll just keep it into this neutralizer movement. Hips to heels, hips to wrists. Chest low and down, chest forward and up. And then you can go circular too, so my hips go left. So see, I mentioned a lateral movement. You can't see it in that angle, so that's why I turn here. That's how you know if something's, sagittal, coronal, or transverse. So my butt goes to my heels, and like I said, I go left. You couldn't see that really when I did it in the other angle. And then I go the opposite. If you want, right? You don't need to do that every day by any means. All right, yogis, so now I want to take you to a stretch that you're familiar with. We got to make sure we're doing this one regularly because of the pattern of life. So we're going to make our way down to our chest, and I'd like to suggest a little windshield wiping. This does open up the position we go to, but it's also super therapeutic for your thighs and your lower back. We just did some really kind of awkward stuff on the lower back. So it's good to give it a moment here. Windshield wipe, massage, release. All right, yogis, so we're gonna go into that shoulder stretch now. It's really a chest stretch though, but depending on where you're tight is where you'll feel it initially. Right arm reaches out. The yogis, I taught this yesterday in my gentle yoga live, in person, and I like described this the best I ever have, but half the class still did this. Right arm reaches out to the right.
It's like you have your neighbor practicing yoga next to you and you put your hand on their back. I slide my left hand close to my body, push to my right side a little bit, and that left leg reaches behind me. I look left, my right ear is down. From here, I try to reposition my hips a little, my legs. We're gonna hold this now. I want you to think like a yin, minute and a half hold. Breathing now, let's slow down. Remember, you can explore. There's about 6 to 8 different ways we could do this. Here's the first one. Another one you could do is just turn your palm up if you always do it. So if you turn your palm up, you're gonna get a little bit different stretch. Another variation is to bend at the elbow now with the palm face down. Close your eyes and enjoy it, yogis. Relax.
And then that's a pretty good hold there. You're gonna slowly switch sides, okay? Left arm reaches out. You might want to neutralize a little bit. Just take your time. Remember to use your breath here, yogis. You know, it's key to remember that catalyst that can really, you know, you're using the pose, but that's only a little piece of the puzzle. Add that breath here. Don't forget, I like to suggest that I won't do equal on both sides. I will stretch my tighter shoulder more. Most days it's my right. Some days it's my left. But if I'm like, because my left arm is weaker, and in the past I've had a lot of injuries in the left arm just randomly, and it's, you know, caused my arm to be not as strong maybe. And we always have a dominant arm, so I'll often strengthen my left arm more, which leads it to be like tighter the next day. So the next day I would stretch it more. Normally I'm stretching the right side more. So it's not the exact time, meaning it's not, you know, the same every time. So listen, guys, you're gonna eventually finish that side out. And then we're gonna do one more thing here on our back. So I wanna tighten everything up. So I do wanna think strengthening, yogis, all right? So we're gonna try something today, lower body, you know, lower back body and upper back body, but we'll start here. So we're gonna, you know, you could rest your arms, head on your hands here. Some of us might rather just kind of keep our chin down or whatever feels comfortable. Now listen, what I want you to do is take the arch out of your back by pressing your pubic bone down. I want you to really point your toes and then just lift your right leg a few inches and hold. So a gentle way, we're gonna strengthen that leg. Hold, 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 and breathe. Push your pubic bone down. See if you can pull your belly in a little bit. And point the toe by engaging the thigh, straighten the knee, and lift that right leg still. And then release it down.
point your left toe so much, straighten your left knee so much, it starts to hover, and then lift it up a little bit. Do not push down through your right foot. That's the key. Don't push through your right foot to lift higher. Just activate your left leg, and your pubic bone pushes down. Pull your belly in, push your pubic bone down. Big inhale, slowly release. Take a moment. Same thing, except now, bend the knee, heel over knee. Push your pubic bone down, pull your belly in, lift your right thigh, flex your right foot. It's like you're putting your heel of your right foot on the ceiling. Hold. Hold. Knee down, foot down. Left foot, left knee bends, left foot flexes. Push your pubic bone down, pull your belly in. Point your right toe, but don't push through the right foot. Just lift your left heel up, lift your left thigh up. Hold. Yogis, you have to pull your belly in and push your pubic bone down. That is everything here. If you don't, it's going to pull your back and arch. You have to push your pubic bone down and pull the belly in. It's not the exercise that's hurting you, it's how you're doing it. Okay? It's a learning process, granted, but you gotta be resilient in the subtle activations of the body, around the core particularly, okay? So we're just doing a little bit simple stuff. Now, go slow, lower down. We're gonna do one more thing here for the lower body, and you might need some padding, and you might need to watch for a moment. Now, it's the same form in the full body, but watch. I'm going to bring my right knee off of my mat. You see this? This is like they call it crocodile, they call it lizard. Now, it's key. I don't want my knee too high up or too down. It's kind of like a nice middle position there. Now, watch what I'm going to do. I want to try to get my right front hip on the floor more, so I don't want to roll to my left. I want to stay downward facing. Now, what I'm going to do is press my right knee down. I'm going to do a little inner thigh stretch there. And then look at this. I flex my right foot, and I rotate it up. I go down, up. Confusing yoga today, right? Let me show you from one more angle in case you're confused. Look. You see this? Look. Do you see how the heel goes like over the knee? I'm not bending my heel to my butt. That's not it. My knee is at about a 90-degree angle and I'm lifting it out and up. You should feel your outer kind of deep hip working here, okay? That's your hip joint stabilizing in medial. That's not done that much in yoga or in exercise in general. We're always strengthening lateral and abduction, but not that much medial. Do your second side, please. One round only. So left knee goes out. So let me show you, yogis, if you need one more demo. It's always good to see. You're kind of like this on your chest, right? And then my foot's going back. We actually do this in standing too. That's when it gets really fun, okay? But this is our gentle way to do it. We also do this in table, but it is more challenging as well. So your left knee and hip are kind of in a 90-degree angle. Your foot's flexed. And that left foot, the outer edge of your foot and shin goes straight up, which kind of brings your heel kind of, eventually toward the position stacked over top of the knee. You guys feel that one?
Now remember that if I position my hips in different ways here, I said try to keep your hips like down, the front of your hips down, like you're laying on your chest. It's not easy, especially depending on the flexibility of your inner left thigh and your left hip. But if the thing is, it's just different. You know, it's not wrong to do it more rolled on your side or upright. It's just different. And that's all we want to remember. All right, guys. So that was our hips work. And we're doing one more thing here on the chest. So what's going to happen is I'm just going to bring you up to standing for a moment after this. And then we'll do a balance, and then we're going to stretch. Okay? Hands come in, hands slide to your lower ribs. Press feet down, engage core. So push pubic bone down, pull belly in. You're going to inhale, lift your chest. You're going to hold for a breath or two there. And then you're going to lower down slow. Okay? Inhale. If you want more, you could do this bind here with the arms behind your back. But yogis, I do want you to keep your feet down, please. So point your toes, engage your thighs, press your feet and pubic bone down. Inhale. Same thing, I'm going to kind of hold. And then I'm going to release. Back up, hold. And then release. These are kind of like our upper posterior back strengtheners, right? So if there's another one you want to do, like arms wide is fun, arms just down here is fun. If you even want to lift the legs, you could, but we just did that. You're kind of isolating more today, right? As opposed to the compound. If you're not aware, in exercise, they have these types where you can isolate a muscle. So you work one muscle individually. Or say you're doing bicep, this front of your arm, you pull your wrist towards your shoulder, bicep curl, right? Isolated bicep curl. Or you can do a pull-up, which is like full body. You know, at first it's full arms, but then it's core and then it's legs too, right? So I don't do bicep curls. I actually did them like 3 days ago. I'm super sore, but I always just do pull-ups instead. You know, it's just full body. You're just getting more bang for your buck. I mean, if you want to swell your biceps, which, you know, I don't really care about, you do want to do isolated bicep curl. All right, guys, nice job. Child pose, press it back. You need a little extra breaths here. A little option could be massage, like how I take my block. You can just do it on the floor too. Just kind of, you know, massage your forehead and your brow on the floor. I like it a little bit more here on a block. Little kind of third eye, eyebrow, and forehead massage. I'd like you to take an extra minute or two in child pose right now. Just kind of feeling out your space. Some other options in child pose are walking your hands to the side or even threading the needle. Or even lifting your arms up on blocks. We did that on Wednesday night flexibility. Anytime I feel pressure in the eyebrows, the forehead, anything around there, I always do this, yogis. It's really therapeutic. It's just like foam rolling or self-massage. It's kind of like a massage therapist comes over and kind of like gets in there on the forehead. Super therapeutic and releases a lot of tension around the eyes, okay? Now I'm gonna keep going forward just for time's sake here, all right? I want to get you a little balance and a little stretch, okay? Our strengthening's pretty much done. Balance would be the closing part of our strength. We're not going to do the bridges. We did the stuff on our chest instead, okay? Now, we're going to come up through tabletop. If you're comfortable, down dog, kind of walk your hands to the back of your mat. Now, granted, this is multiple forward bends in a row after multiple back bends, right? So we came from twist, we went to hip extensions and then rotations, twist, back bend, back to back bend. Now forward bend, forward bend.
Okay, so you can take a lengthener here and forward bend, close your eyes.
Remember, yogis, that you want to bend your knees if your back hurts for sure. And, you know, if my back hurt, I would stretch more like this instead. You know, my knees would be bent and I would keep my spine long. I'd work anterior tilt. I wouldn't go like this. But is there a time and place where I straighten my legs and round my spine a lot? Yes. I actually did that twice this week a lot because my back was hurting for a couple weeks, but now it's starting to feel better again. So I'm starting to challenge it and strengthen it again because the couple weeks where I wasn't really able to strengthen it a lot, you know, it's getting weaker. So let's make our way to standing by bending the knees, core, spine, stand up. And, you know, let's just move for a moment. It's been quite a few kind of stiff postures. So, you know, I like to suggest this twisting. I like to suggest this kind of circling of the hips. We already did this stuff, but always good to revisit. I like to suggest knee lifts, leg shakes, arm shakes. You know, remember the Qigong thing here? Or even, you know, a little back bend, little forward bend. This is like a standing vinyasa. Hip hinges, squats, you know, anything that can neutralize your body to prepare for the balance, okay? So we only got about 15 minutes left. So we got balance. So I want you to work here, and then it's stretch time. Good old tree pose, left foot on the inner right shin. Lift your core, more shoulder strength, reach your arms up. If you want more butt strength, grab the left knee, pull it up high, and straighten your right leg, flex both feet more. Try to really drive through your standing leg. So this is something we've been working in for a while now here. Okay, you can see the butt turns on so much more. Okay, you got a few more breaths in that first side, please. Anything on one foot is okay, right? If you were in Hatha Yoga, we were doing all this asymmetrical stuff where, you know, we were in balance and we were kind of leaning forward and back, side to side, twisting. You know, don't be shy to add even strong things in. Just like sometimes you modify to back off, you also can modify to pick it up. Okay? Big inhale, a little release. And then we're going to do our second side, yogis. You know, I mentioned the idea, subtle challenges too, like lifting the toes. You know, we do it where we even lift the left heel standing here. Usually you would do calf raises and stuff before that, but closing your eyes, adding even side bends. You know, the yogis do the subtle twists and tree. We haven't done that in a while. We'll bring that back around maybe next gentle yoga class, adding the planes into the trees. Now, please go slow. Ideally, it's about 45 seconds is a good place to start. If you're going, you know, getting good at it, you go longer. Okay? Shake it out. Now, we got 2-3 options. We could do, I'm going to let you decide today. I want one more round of balance. We have our toe balance. My heels are lifted, and I'm going to hold. You could do things like kind of going up and down a little bit in the knees and the hips. All the while, my heels are lifted, right? I could even walk a little bit on my toes. I could, you know, like I said, I see how I shift weight to one foot and then the other is the idea with walking. I mean, you could just do it in place where you're under one. You're going to feel how much more strengthening that balance is for your ankle and your foot, right? Another option is the closed eye balance here.
You could also do another round of one-legged balance, if that's calm to you. Either way, try to stand up tall. If you're doing 2-foot balance with the heels down, you close your eyes. So we got all regulars today, right? And what that means is a little bit more kind of personalizing and just what does your body need and what are you working on? I also have to use the restroom quick. I'll be right back, guys. All right, yogis, so hopefully you did both sides of your balance. And let's meet standing here. Right hand reaches forward, left hand pulls the fingers back. Stretch out your wrists, just like that, yogis. Breathe. Second side. Right. Shake it out, please. Same thing, but the flip side. So right hand forward. See how the palm goes down and I go here? A lot of times we just do this on our chest. It's a nice different way to do this. Don't forget we've done like moving and resisting. We've done it like this. So there's a lot of ways to do this stuff. See that? Second side. Thank you guys for being patient. My little doggy is learning. She goes outside to the bathroom now. She goes over to our patio door. She looks at me. She'll even scratch on it sometimes. And she just had to go pee quick. So she's learning. Now, yogis, I want to try that dynamic stretch for the arms today. You know, if you wanted to do a quick one of these, you can. But I want to do that one where we grip the fingers. It's really good for this. So it's kind of a substitute for this. So if you watch me, right wrist on top of left, palms turn down and together. And then I intertwine my fingers. So right wrist on top, palms turn down toward each other, and then intertwine fingers. From here, I keep my fingers intertwined. I bring my hands under toward the chest, up. Keeping my fingers intertwined, I go forward. You can hold. And then you go back forward, and then you come back up, hold. You're gonna really feel, hopefully, a big stretch through your right wrist, maybe your thumb, maybe your elbow, all right? So, I teach this one sometimes in gentle. I tend to save it for my stronger classes. Like I'll have you in a warrior or a goddess, leg strength, and then we move the arms. Now shake it out, it's a really big one. So we did our wrist forward and back, right? Now this is doing like this twisting type of wrist stretch. Left wrist on top, palms turn down toward each other. Intertwine your fingers, please. And then boom, forward. So now it's a little bit more of like the left wrist here. See that? The hand is like pulling it like that. Got it? Then you come back over and up. And you go here again. Down and under, up,
And you do that a few more times, yogis. Inner thigh stretch. Just running through the body quick, seeing what we need here. We did active hip extensions, so we don't really need to, some days we're typically in a bit of muscle instead of stretch it, because we can't stretch every muscle every time. So if we reciprocally inhibit it, it does cover the lengthening part of a muscle. All right, shake it out, guys. Maybe roll your shoulders up, back, and down. You're gonna feel that a lot around the wrist, most likely. Totally normal, okay? Shoulders back and down, maybe neck a little side to side. Maybe neck, look over the left shoulder, look right. And maybe a tiny neck circle. All right, guys, we're gonna make our way down to our back here. If you'd like, you can touch your toes. We've already done both of those postures, yogi squat and touch your toes. So I'm gonna go right through to our back, just for time's sake. I'd like to take that outer hip stretch. So we did the active medial. So we'll go here, boom, in this figure 4. I'll let you decide. You can stay here, or if you want to do that other stretch type, it's where the left foot goes down, that right foot stays on the knee but slides out, and then I bring the knees right. You can do a little bit of both if you want, or kind of pick one and hold longer. This second part stretches kind of more like the front outer hip more, and this first part stretches more like the back outer hip, a little bit more, right? So they both are great. Just kind of can't do everything every class. What do you need? And I've had you like move in between those before too, right? We'll come back to center and we'll switch sides. We get 45 seconds or so, minute. So that's the first part where the stretch is more in my left hip here because my left ankle is the one crossed above my right knee. But if I bring that right foot down, slide my left foot on the outer knee a little bit more, and I let my knees fall left, the stretch is more on the right hip now. So the whole hip side changes. Close your eyes, try to relax. So to end class, guys, take your time. I'm just starting to demo here. I want to give you a couple minutes to do a last stretch or two, and then we'll take a group meditation. So say you wanted strength, you could do some gentle bridges. That's so good to do. Like I said, sometimes you'll modify to pick it up, not slow it down, right? Another easy slower down option would be block under your butt, or even, legs up, the wall, or on the block. So a nice inversion to get some drainage and elevation in the legs. Another good idea could be a twist here with the right knee in across the body. That's always a good one, right? And one more option here could be this one where you roll to your side. If you feel like your thigh needs to stretch, you're here. So I rolled onto my left, right hand to right foot. You could always do a foot restorative fish and let your knees open and neck traction. But that's enough options for me. What does your body need here in the end? I want you to practice that. Not necessarily me telling you what to do, but applying what's personally needed. And right now, this is feeling amazing. A little back of the head massage. If you're doing something one-sided, maybe switch it up because you got about a minute left, all right? So yogis, you know the deal here. I want you to take your time, another 20 seconds, and we're going to close with a meditative state or a conscious relaxation, trance. The goal is to kind of relax, all right? It sounds odd, but you're going to practice relaxing, right? Everything we practice, we get better at. And after you practice enough, you begin to master it. Imagine you can master rest and get the most benefits out of resting your mind and body. Rest is where your body rebuilds, where memories form, where neurons are created, new brain cells, protein synthesis. So many good things happening in sleep, right? Anti-inflammatory, alkalining, so many incredible things. So we're, in a sense, training our body to get into all these healing kind of states better. So find a comfortable position, please. Shake it out a little bit. Make sure you're really comfortable, but then stop fidgeting. Maybe take a nice deep breath or 3. Sighing it out. Eventually, relaxing your lungs as well, letting your abdomen relax. Even letting your jaw, tongue all relax. Your eyes close, your eyes soften, and you let your bones get heavy. And you melt into the floor here, yogis, relaxing the body, the breath, and the mind for our final pose of relaxation, Shavasana.